Hello everyone. This is Debbie. I am Alexandra. Debbie is a career leadership coach, and I'm Alexandra, your dedicated Pilates coach. We are here because it's Mental Health Week coming up this month, and we are mega busy, so it's a miracle that you have us both here. We have a VFX background. I'm going to share briefly how we met each other. In 2002, I was doing my first job ever at Cinesite. We worked on the Harry Potter. I think it was the Chamber of Secrets, like one of the first
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah.
And then we met again at Tippett Studio in 2004. And then our job takes us in wonderful places, right? And then back at London as moms at DNEG, different stress, different projects. And, the city of London is stressful as is. Being a mother on top of the deadlines was quite challenging. And we were doing some Pilates outside of work to cope and with all these extra deadlines. I wanted to share a little bit about why I shifted from VFX to the wellness industry. And that was thanks to that amazing teacher that we were going to do Pilates together after work. It was like walking distance to DNEG, London. And I just will go so tired and so stiff and so exhausted physically and mentally that I was like, I really needed Debbie to go together. I would have skipped all the classes. So we really did the good accountability. We were going to this class and I would come out joyful, alive, energized, and definitely pain-free. I felt tired, but in a good way. And after a couple of classes, I was like, okay, I really want to do what she's doing. I want to give people this feeling of joy. What was that? What was that magic thing she was doing? So that was my inspiration. And that actually place we were going, the studio was also a school. So I trained there soon after. And I wanted to hear your version of the story. How did you transition, Debbie? Because I know you were dedicated and you were at DNEG for almost like an eternity. So tell me.
Thank you. I would so the Pilates we used to go to, Alex, that was all you. So it's nice that you credit me with if I didn't go, you wouldn't go, but if you didn't go, I wouldn't go. And we were going with two other friends and colleagues too.
Yes, we
So we
were
were
going,
a little group of four women
four
going
of
to Pilates
us. Yes,
together.
yes. We,
And yeah, yeah. In terms of my own move from from being, hands-on involved with visual effects projects to now coaching
mm,
mostly visual effects professionals, so coaching people in VFX and the creative industries. I think it was more of a slow burn for me. I was always interested in how I could continue my own professional development. So having been the global head of comp at DNEG for a long time, I decided to take a coaching course to add to my skill set. It's when I took the course, it was transformational for me. So I think in the same way the Pilates class was for you, the
yeah.
coaching course for me was transformational. And I just thought, wow, this has made such a difference to me. And if I can have that same impact for other people, that would be incredible. So that's what empowered me, I think,
Yeah.
to quit the day job despite being a single parent, and be self-employed as a coach. And no regrets. I absolutely love what I do. Yeah.
Yes, no regrets. And just to bring you back to my origin a little bit, I don't know if anyone knows, Hippocrates was the basically the medicine man back before Christ in ancient Greece. And I really like this quote where he's talking about the interconnection of the body and the mind and how we can heal ourselves when we are connecting. And he was definitely promoting rest and diet and movement into his practice and not just medication. And I think depression right now, statistically speaking, we're going to put the stats that I found from the World Health Organization. The stats have gone crazy after the pandemic. I know in the early 2000s when we were starting, it was still exciting. the internet was there, but it wasn't so distracting and so overwhelming and consuming. And we were still in the creative process, and we love to be creators and artists, right? Composing artists. Now, the pandemic isolated us, because I think the team that we had at DNA was incredible. The connections, that even though we were doing like 18 hours per day sometimes to finish, deadline, finish or not finish, and trying not to burn out. I think the stress now is increased, and now is the time to do something. Now more than ever is the time to really appreciate movement, simple things as breathing correctly, connecting our mind, which is like a machine. You just get so consumed into the software and the all the technical parts. Your brain becomes part of the computer. I don't know if you're seeing on these AI images now, where it's like more deadlines, more compositing, more, and it's just like the supreme being floating, and the brain is attached to the computer. So I know we don't want to go there. We want to be connected with our bodies, and our bodies are not machines. They are connected to our mental health and our emotional health, and we need the two to be healthy, to be also healthy and emotionally stable. So for me, for sure, I managed to manage stress, deadlines, and burnout with Pilates. I've been practicing since 2007. And since that class that we did together, and I got my certification with 2 new babies, I really needed it, not only to keep working in VFX, which I had to do for a while still, both of them, and also bringing my body back after giving birth, and childbirth was intense for our bodies. So for women especially, I highly recommend it. But everybody, let's take a moment. I want to offer you this tool, this 5 minute practice that you can do when you are at your desk. You don't have time for a break. You can't get up because everybody's watching and waiting your your shot to be complete and rendered. So let's take 5 minutes here and connect with our breath, because when we are stressed, we don't breathe correctly. We do small, shallow breaths, and which deprive our brain from oxygen, and our muscles become intense and tight, and the blood is not circulating and is not flowing through our spine to our brain. So we really need to remind ourselves, okay, am I breathing correctly? And if you're not sure, let's try. I'm gonna sit a little bit taller than usual. We bring our shoulders slouching. So let's sit a little bit taller. If you have the back of the chair, you can rest on the back of the chair. Let's let the arms float to the side of the chair and take a nice deep breath, lifting the shoulders up and then exhaling, drop them down. So I recommend to do as many of these as you can. Inhaling and then exhaling, and take a deep exhalation as well. So inhaling, exhaling, and one more. This is moving our scapula, which usually becomes really stiff when we are slouching over our computers. And now let's get a nice little round movement all around the shoulders. So up, back, down, gliding into the ribs. This movement most of you might not be able to do anymore, but we're gonna try. Me and Debbie are been doing it for a while now. Find the longest neck you can, so pressing the shoulders away and down towards the ground, so lengthening the arms, pointing down to the ground. And now we're gonna rotate the neck to the side, whichever side you want. You just want to find that length, and then exhale, come in the middle, and then inhale, go to the other side, and then exhale, back in the middle. And we're going to really let go of the arms now. We just really loose. You can close your eyes if you want. I welcome you to close them so that you have no distraction and you stay focused. I'm gonna welcome you into some deep breaths in. So let's take a nice deep breath with the nose. We're gonna hold it for 2 seconds. And we're gonna exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna do 3 more reps. So inhale and counting to 4. Hold it for 2. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know when you're stressed, you just kind of don't have so much exhale. So let's do 5, counting in. Hold it for 5, 2, 1, and then exhaling again for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I know by now you start to melt into your chair. Let's do one last one. Inhaling 5. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this takes 0 time. So we've done our breathing. Now we're going to lengthen our arms, extend them from the shoulders to the side. And we're going to interlace our fingers behind our head. But try not to really push your head with your hands. It's the other way around. We're going to push the back of the head into our hands and see if you can grab your thumb to point down to your spine and imagine you make a little hammock with your other fingers into the base of your head. So with that hammock, you're pulling your head higher, right? So look, I'm kind of lifting my neck up with my thumbs, and now we push with the head back. See if you can lift the chest a little bit here. Oh, I just cracked something that's pleasant. Inhale, exhale, and bring it back, and relax. So we're pulling up the head with our hands. You press in the back of the head into your hands, and then you lean back just ever so slightly to take a nice deep breath, and then exhale, bring it back. Lengthen the arms to the side, and slowly, if you don't have a desk, lower the arms to the side of your chair. So this is a great tool to remind yourself to survive into the chaos, whatever is happening. You connect with your breath, you connect with your body, and your mind has more oxygen, more blood flow. Your back has less tension and less pain, and you can carry on with just like 5 minutes to yourself here. So how about you, Debbie? What tools do you have that we can apply in a simple way that can help us with boundaries and decision making?
I think as a coach, I'm always working with people to develop their self-awareness. And exactly as you said, Alex, it's learning to notice what's going on in here, what's going on in my head, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? So what emotions am I feeling? And physically, what's my body telling me? So am I holding tension in my body? So one of my top tips is absolutely breathing also. Um, I completely agree with you. It's the number one thing we can do to de-stress. And by relaxing our body, we're telling our brain we're safe, it's okay, you can relax because it's all
Yes.
interconnected. I think a really nice kind of hack in terms of mental well-being is to know the small things that bring you comfort and joy. Um, I've, I would encourage everyone to write a list, write down 10 things that make you happy, that bring you joy. And when you notice
Mm.
that you're not your best self, when you notice you're becoming overwhelmed, stressed, you don't feel good in yourself, what on that list can you do? And it can be simple things. One of my favorites is listen to a song I love, and sing and jump around, just sing, dance to
Mm.
one song I love. That takes 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
3 minutes and it's a real reset. Yeah. So yeah, make a list of the small things that make you happy. And I think another classic is getting outside, getting outdoors, particularly now that we work from home so much more,
Yes.
that it's so essential that we get outside every day, that we're in nature. that we're breathing the air, that we're moving. And if you can do that and be mindful while you're doing it, so paying attention to your senses. So for example, maybe you're not listening to a podcast, maybe you don't have your AirPods in, and instead you're really noticing, what can I hear? Or you might be listening to something, but you're really noticing, what can I see? What patterns do I notice?
Yes.
So checking in with your senses is really a powerful reset, and it's free, it's easy, we can do it anytime, anywhere. Um, if so if you can't get outside, you're about to join a Zoom call, or you're about to have a daily session and you notice you're feeling tense, maybe just as simple as noticing the sensation of touch, just to
Mm.
ground yourself back into the here and now. And that can help center you as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The breath and I love the world has changed so much since the pandemic. I remember before we were at DNIC, we'll take a little coffee break. I remember making a coffee and the coffee station made me so happy. The taste, the smell, the little chatter for like whenever everyone is there making a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. It really like I think also don't stay isolated, connecting with another human as well helps, or your pet around, your cat or your dog or whatever creature you have around, a little pet therapy. Try to socialize a little bit, call a friend, or like we do. Should we share what we're doing since
Mhm.
2022? We
Yeah.
basically set ourselves an hour a week where for 30 minutes Debbie's coaching me to become a better business owner and leader into my classes and be more creative and more active and more focused because, it can be overwhelmed to be entrepreneur and have your own business and doing all the jobs yourself. And then 30 minutes, I check on Debbie's needs and what her body needs. And because she likes to run, she likes to ski, I've been able to help her stay injury and pain free. Hopefully, she will continue the stuff we do during the week, but both encourage you to do the same, like find a movement routine that you have, that you have something to look forward to, like going for a run or any movement. Movement heals. Change happens through movement and movement heals. That's my favorite Joseph Pilates quote. So it doesn't have to be Pilates, but any movement. I like specifically Pilates because it starts from the spine and the brain is connected to the spine. So it's very interconnected and very deep core work. And nowadays, when you're 40 plus, your body needs more deeper work, not just the superficial muscles. We need to work deeper and slowly rewarding, let's say. It's not like I have a final and we celebrate, right? It's like, woo, final, my name is in the credit. We don't see the fruits right away. But we're happy when our clients come back, when they succeed. We're happy when we're helping people. We're happy when they're pain-free, when their careers are accelerated, when they are more confident, healthier, happier. For me, the joy that comes from movement is priceless. What else do you want to share, Debbie?
I think it's we're like the dream team, Alex.
Yes.
I love our sessions, and without that accountability, without us having made that commitment to support each other, honestly, I wouldn't find time for Pilates. I know I wouldn't. I'd like to think I would, but I also know I wouldn't. So it's because of that commitment we've made to meet once a week for an hour. And I wouldn't want to let you down. You wouldn't want to let me down. And what I get from it is, amazing. It's priceless, actually. I get a one-to-one Pilates tuition session every week with yourself, Alex, and you are a brilliant Pilates instructor. So, and I notice the difference in my body. I'm so much stronger and fitter. In fact, you very kindly said in our 40s. I'm in my 50s, and I've never felt sort of fitter and stronger than I do now. So thank you.
Oh my God, thank you, Debbie. And for sure, my self-esteem was really low in the beginning when we started. Remember, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm gonna running a business and switching from, completely VFX to a whole new industry. It was terrifying. And I think thanks to your guidance and your steps, step by step, because it was overwhelming sometimes, and you're really starting me back into, okay, let's simplify this. Let's go step by step. And your tip, you just said now, just write down 10 things. It really brought structure and focus back into my business. And yes, I don't think either I could have done it without you. And so thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
So, Debbie, do you want to have a closing line?
I think what I've noticed through my coaching is there's so much value in taking time to stop and with a professional, with a coach, taking time to just stop and check in with yourself. And, you know, because life moves fast. So coaching is often about giving yourself permission to just stop and check in with, where am I at this point in my life? How rewarding am I finding it? What changes might I want to make? And I often find they're small tweaks. It's rare that it's a complete 180. It's often about small tweaks because typically the people I coach, they are working in an industry that they have a passion for. And so it's about small tweaks to make it work better for you. Coaching can be valuable because you're giving yourself time to stop and assess with a professional and help figure out what's best for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So to wrap it up, I was going to suggest Debbie and I will put some links if you ever want to have a free chat with us to see if we can help you. If this was helpful, please put some comments on our YouTube video. We're going to share it with all of you on LinkedIn. We know where you guys live. And share with your friends if you think someone could find this useful. Please share. And Debbie and I are always here for you. You know our specialities. And VFX is hard. It's a hard industry, and with the pandemic and with AI, it just gets almost impossible to really find some stability right now. And so if you ever need a career coach, Debbie covers that. And if you need some movement on the side for your core, I'm here. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope this was encouraging conversation that we had that inspired you, motivated you. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye. Bye.